Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done this because I've just been so busy with school, family, trips, things coming up during the summer. So I thought I would at least give you some information on Battlefield 4 because I'm just as excited for it as you are. Now, I took some of the campaign or multiplayer footage from the Siege of Shanghai and implemented it into this video. So I'm just going to give you the lowdown on everything that I saw and everything that I could process through my very limited mind. Alright, first of all, we have the first piece of information, which is the first scene you saw, which was in this elevator, showed the basic character models for the Chinese military. You could see the engineer on the far left, who has his staple gas mask. You have the Chinese assault in the center left. Then you have the Chinese support in the center right, and then on the far right you have the recon. Things I can see here is obviously if you look at the support's gun, he's holding a Type 88 light machine gun, so that confirms it. Obviously, the Type 88 is a Chinese-made weapon, so that confirms things with the Chinese faction. And as we move on there, the conflict obviously escalates, and we see one of the first new weapons within Battlefield 4, the CZ-805, which if I'm correct, it is a Czechoslovakian-made weapon. Also known as the Bren, which is obviously not different from the World War II era Bren. And it's one of the newer weapons that we will be able to see within Battlefield 4. Then, as we move on to this next image here, we can see the first new map, Siege in Shanghai. And then, if you look here, I'm going to point. It's going to be pointed on the next one. There's a gunship. I'm going to explain this more in depth when I get to Commander Air footage. We have some more new footage. We have images of one of the new vehicles, obviously the jet ski returning from Bad Company 2. And then also within that same frame, we can see one of the new battleships. Yes, battleships are going to be definitely new, are obviously new, and they're going to be holding a lot of things holding a lot of surprises for us that I myself cannot wait to see, such as Tomahawk missiles, and there possibly could be more. I mean, who knows? It's still in like an alpha. I like to consider right now what I see, comparing it from the alpha images that were leaked just like a couple of days ago. I'd like to consider this in between alpha and beta, but we'll have to see when beta comes out during fall. And then we're going to move on to the next piece of information here, which shows a tank and a helicopter rolling down the streets. But this isn't just any tank and helicopter. That's the WZ-10 and the Type 99 tank. Those are the official attack helicopter and tank for the Chinese faction. And WZ-10 is a Chinese-made attack helicopter, and I'm going to show you the inside of it. And then the Type 99 is a Chinese-made tank and is the most modern Chinese-made tank. As we move on with the footage here, then we can see the inside of the gunner of the gunner sights within the WZ-10. And also, if you look down in the score bar where it shows all the conquest flags and it shows the mini map, we can see obviously China versus USA. And then then as we move on, we're going to be looking at the new IR sights, which is much a development from the old one. I kind of like the old one better. This one has a little bit more of a glare, but still retains that challenge within it. And that is still from the WZ-10, I believe so. I may or may not be wrong. Then we move on. We have the inside of the WZ-10, and I confirmed that this was WZ-10 because this is one of the attack helicopters that does use the Zuni pods, and Zuni pods were specifically manufactured for China as a side note to the Hydra, which is something that the U.S. would more or less likely be using. and that is one. It's obviously one of the newer attack helicopters. You can see the Type 99 on the street down there. And we move on. We see the inside of the Type 99. This is the Type 90. This is obviously the Type 99. You can see the barrel is much more different from the M1 Abrams. It still has the M1 Abrams sight. I don't know if they're keeping that or they're going to change that. Some things are usually placeholders for others, such as the Russian force, such as when we got the fishing in Baku trailer. We can see that there were Russian forces. I don't know if there were supposed to be Chinese forces. Once again, things are usually placeholders. And then and then right now it's also having a firefight with the M1 Abrams. And we're going to move on to just ahead of that section. This is the U.S. view. On the left, you can see the M1 Abrams. It has a new tank pattern, which is not the base like beige that we had for Battlefield 3. It is more or less a newer like woodland stylish. And then I posted up what that little key button coding reminder thing is. It really shows like that Battlefield is definitely trying to make use of their space on the screen. So as you can see, we have the different utensils that he's using. His number 1 selected. I believe that is the Ultimax, because this is a support class, as he does have ammunition packs. And then the fourth one, we have the T for the tactical light, and then we have the V for the fire mode. And then obviously we also have the 1.3 magnifier scope, which is a scope that was originally made for the EOTech hybrid sight. And I guess it's going to be something you can use on every weapon. I don't know. We'll have to find out when it comes around. Next image, we move on here. It is the underneath of what is a capture point called Metro. But one of the interesting thing is the man fired at that pole that he's aiming at with the M230 grenade, and the aftermath of it was definitely something that we can expect out of Destruction 4.0. And yes, that is a street that a tank was traveling on. He hit the pole whenever the tank came around. Tank sunk in the ground. And this is definitely something that we can confirm out of Destruction 4.0. It's definitely taking everything to a whole new level. One of the things I definitely wish for is that in Destruction 4.0 we can destroy bridges like we used to in Battlefield Bad Company 2, because that was definitely a step off of everything. Now we have some more naval combat, and from here we can definitely see some things. First of all, hit point markers. Returning from Battlefield Bad Company 2, one of my most favorite things, aside from the hit markers, is that you can definitely see you get points for hitting the vehicle and doing damage to it. Second of all, we have that this is the view of the rigid assault craft, and essentially what this is hold on. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning for me. The rigid assault craft is mounted with a 30mm cannon as well as a tow missile. So this is definitely a step off of the usual things we're getting in Battlefield. And then another thing that is definitely new is also boats have IR smoke, which is another thing which there may be anti-ship missiles. Knowing that there is battleships around, they could use the Harpoon anti-ship missiles. I mean, I don't know. And then the final thing is we see the Ka-60 transport helicopter, which is just hovering above, shooting at some jet skis. And this is definitely the question, which is really posing to me, because the Chinese don't really use the Ka-60. They probably have something else in place, but we're definitely going to have a lot of vehicle warfare in Battlefield 4. And then we move on to the next one. We can see what looks like an AH-64. It looks the same as a WZ-10, and I had a little bit of trouble with this picture. It looks the same as a WZ-10. It says the Chinese thing at the bottom of the screen, but when you look at the pods, it doesn't say Zuni. It says Hydra. and the WZ-10 does not use hydropods. So this could probably be a break. This could probably be like a breakthrough or something. If it does use hydras, then we're probably looking at an A64. But I wouldn't be confirming the A64 right around then. It's kind of like it's very shaky for me to decide whether or not this is WZ10 or an AH64, because it's not the AH1Z either, because the AH1Z does not have that much metal in its cabin. And then we move on to something called Levolution, which is a lot of the things where you can like level structures, I believe so, in multiplayer matches, and then that will change the whole flow of the gameplay. As you saw, that building that everyone was fighting on was the same one that the four Chinese people in the beginning of my video were going up in the elevator, and that was the same skyline they were fighting in. And now it's getting crashed to the ground, and then, as you can see in the next photo, that doesn't stop the battlefield from... In my next photo, that never stops the battlefield. The point is still there, and now instead of fighting on the top of a building, they're fighting in the rubble of the building inside the water, which is definitely a step through, and you can definitely see a lot of... You can definitely change a lot of how the gameplay will affect people. Now, instead of like a building, you're going to have a lot more spaces to take cover in. However, it's going to be a lot more level, and things like ground vehicles and tanks could definitely reach that spot. So it's looking exciting right now for Battlefield 4. Rest in peace to Call of Duty. So, and then the next image, we can see what looks like the commander mode. This is one of the newest features of Battlefield 4, and one of the ones that I'm definitely looking out for. Commander mode is essentially taking everything that you've seen and just cramping it all together. And we can see first of all the top of the map, or the look of the map. And honestly, 2 bridges, once again, if we bring back bridge destruction, then it's going to change the flow of it if Destruction 4.0 allows that. And then I'm going to describe everything you see here. First of all, we have the UAV and the counter UAV. It says the EMP UAV, and that is exactly what it's doing. It's messing up their comms, and it's messing up their maps, and it's messing up their HUDs. So it's going to be harder for them to know how much ammo they have. It's going to be, essentially, in a nutshell, it's going to be hard for them. And then we have the Tomahawk missile, which is a cruise missile. In the first footage we have from Siege of Shanghai, we could see the impact of a Tomahawk missile hitting a Type 99, which Tomahawk missiles are definitely a step off of things. And to see that they're including this is definitely something exciting. We can see that there's also the deployed gunship, which essentially, as a reference, back to the image I had, which had the arrow pointing at the gunship. This does confirm that the gunship is back, and this is going to be one of the commander assets. For those of you who played Battlefield 3 Armored Kill, you know how annoying the gunship was, especially when it was using its 30mm cannons at you. And then plus the IR flares. We had some good times. And then finally and then it said infantry scan. I don't know, this is maybe showing enemy infantry position, but I think that would work the same way as a scan UAV, but we'll only have to find out when it comes out. And then we have the scores, and then one of the more interesting ones is the real-time camera feed from your friendly units. It's essentially showing the first-person view of any of the friendly units or people within the area, so you can you can see the view from a tank, you can see the view from a helicopter, from an infantryman, from a boat. It's really a step off of from everything. And then finally we have the flag statuses. I believe that's what it means. If it doesn't, I don't know. It's still definitely new to me, everything I see in this commander screen. And then finally, I don't really have it here, but you can now use the commander from a source such as a laptop. No, not a laptop, but you could still see the commander from a source such as a tablet, and you can still use it from there. So it's definitely something to look forward to. And then we have the footage, or we have an image, and from the kill feed it says the CZ. It sees the CZ8, the CZ8 or the CZ3, one of those two, but it's a CZ3A1. And essentially what that is a Scorpion Evo. For those of you who played Black Ops 2, you know what that is. For those of you who have Arma's Army of the Czech Republic, you know what that is. It's essentially a Czechoslovakian-made weapon that evolves off the CZ805 Bren, and it's a submachine gun. And it's definitely one of the more exciting things. And then the next one, we can see something that I want to get and I want to happen in Battlefield 4, and it is one. And when I saw this footage, I was so thankful that they put this in. Essentially, you can counter knife people. So if someone's coming up to you to knife, as in this video, sadly the man was shanked by his own knife and ended up perilously hitting the ground, dead. Someone getting the kill instead of him. Poor man. And then also we can see the melee bonus, which is another step off of and something I'm happy to see. Now the question is, what would you like to see in Battlefield 4? I know that I would like to see the A64 Apache, return of the anti-air jeeps. Apache only because it's a real like game changer within military, and it's definitely badass. A jeeps because once again I like them in Battlefield 3, and I'd like to see them return. And then you have the XM8 rifle family, which Level Cap Gaming, who's another YouTuber, mentioned that he wanted the return of the XM8, and honestly, I agree too, because the XM8 in real life is a recoilless rifle. They really never made the charts. However, I'd like to see a return because it definitely has a lot of possibility. It was one of the favorite weapons within games such as Battlefield Play for Free and Battlefield Bad Company. And then, honestly said, I'd like the return of the XM8. I'd also like to see the return of Nosher Canals, and Battlefield 4 will have a map pack called Second Assault, which will bring back 4 Battlefield 3 fan favorite maps. And honestly, I know Metro is going to be one of those, and Caspian, but I would like Canals to be part of that, because Nosher Canals definitely had its moments with Team Deathmatch. And then finally, the AT4. This is a laser-like sight guided rocket. It's definitely one of the more people used weapons within Battlefield Bad Company 2, and that's one of the reasons why I want to see it back. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for cooperating with our channel, for putting up with the fact that I wasn't around for like a really long time, and I hope that I brought to you enough information to get you at least hyped for what's about to be released in Battlefield 4. I will be releasing new information as it comes out. Anyways, aside from that, everybody have a nice day, and I hope they subscribe, like, comment, do everything, ask me questions. If you want, I'll do a Q&A series, but yeah. Anyways, thanks guys, and I'll see you later.